Hello Udemy, I am Shazad Ahmed from Chickzy.com and welcome to lecture number 8. Today we are going to cover the input class or input library and the pagination library. How can you create your paginations if you have a lot of data coming from your database and you want to break your data by using the paginations or in the paging format. Okay, so now what you need, go to your, make sure we are working on the home controller. So this is the e-commerce series and this is also the fast track. Why I am saying the fast track? Because we are going to cover the maximum things in minimum time, so that's why we are saying the fast track. Make sure we are going to create some projects, some real-time projects related with coordinator, and I'm going to explain how can you embed the bootstrap 4 in this series also. Make sure. Okay, so I'm going to erase all this code here and I'm going to create another method for suppose. Don't worry about it. I'm saying example 1. Okay, I am just leaving this here. Now I'm still working on index method. Make sure whenever you want to access the home sections, it will automatically execute your index method. I am just repeating again so you can see it's executing the same way. Or in simple words, you can access this by adding index.php your controller. If you have remembered, I told you that the URL works like this. First of all your index, then your controller, then your methods, then your arguments. First of all, if you want to pass more than one argument, then your argue2, and then your argue3, then your argue4. It totally depends upon you how many arguments you are supplying. But in this time I'm saying this is my controller, which is home. Refresh the page, you can see it's working fine. Okay, so first of all we are going to explain how can you use the input class. So by using input class, I'm going to explain what is input class. So before this, I'm going to load a view. I'm saying view. In this time I'm saying home, and by the way, go to your page, refresh the page, you can see it's now giving you error because you are sending the data. Open your home.php, you can see you are echoing some variables here, but you are not sending the data from the controller. You can erase this. Okay, refresh the page, you can see it's saying oh, hello world. It's working fine. That means, so now I'm going to create a form here. But before creating form, okay, now I'm saying form action. So this is not a form. I'm saying form. Okay, so I'm saying this is action and XYZ, and I'm saying the method I'm going to use is the host, for suppose host method. Now what you need to load the URL helper. So don't worry if you are not familiar with URL helper. I'm just loading the URL helper to submit the form. So I will explain the helpers in my later lectures. So for now you can just ignore. Okay, I'm saying just load helper. So which helper? I'm saying URL helper. Okay, so I'm saying site URL. Now I'm saying oh please submit this form to home controller, and the method is for suppose login. And now I'm going to create some fields. Input type equals to text, and now in this time I'm saying the name equals to for suppose email, and now I am copying Control D. Now in this time I'm saying password. In this time this is the also password, and now I'm saying this is button. You can also create your forms by using the form helper, so don't worry, I will explain each and everything. In this time I am saying login, and I'm saying type equals to submit, and I'm saying class. Okay, so go to your page, refresh the page. You can see we have just created 2 fields, 1 form. So hit this button, you can see it's redirecting to you to here. Okay, so now you have to echo this out, refresh the page. So hit this button, you can see now you are submitting this form to your home controller, and the method is login. So go to your home controller, and you can create your login method. Since you are sending 2 data or 2 fields from the HTML, so you have to receive 2 fields here. So how can you receive 2 fields here? So first of all, you have to load the, by default the input library is loaded, so you don't need to load the library, you just use it. I'm saying this input, and in this time I'm saying post. So what is the post name? In this time I'm saying the post name is email, and you can pass the second parameter. Why you are passing the second parameter? Because of the security XSS filtering, if you know about this. Okay, now in this time I am saying the second field is password, and now I am echoing these here. Refresh the page, you can see I'm saying email here, and I'm saying password here. Okay, login the button, you can see email here and password here. So I'm also echoing the VR, so you can easily understand what's going on. Refresh the page, you can see we are sending the email and password because we are using the post method, so that's why we are using the post here. So if you are using the get method, so you can also use the get method here. Go to your page, refresh the page, you can see it's not working fine because the password here. Now hit the login button, method equals to get, refresh the page, Control F5. Okay, refresh the page, you can see you are sending the data by using the get method. For suppose if you don't know about the method which is coming from the controller, you can also use the get post method. Okay, so how can you use the get post method? Just use get underscore post, so you don't need to worry about which method you are using at the front end side. Go to your page, refresh the page, you can see it's working fine. And now refresh the page, hit the button, it's working fine because you are using the get method. If you are using the post method from your front end, refresh the page. Okay, now hit the button, you can see it's also working fine. So it's totally depend upon you which method you are using. So input, this input get post, make sure I am again saying, so this is the input library, so you don't need to load this library because it's auto loaded. CodingNighter loading this library automatically whenever you want to access something, your controller model. Okay, so you have now you have the idea, which is the input class. Okay, so I'm going to explain the paginations also. So I'm commenting this one, and this load. In this time I'm saying library. Which library? I'm saying paginations. So you already know how paginations works. First of all, when you have a lot of data which is coming from your database and you want to break your data into multiple pages, so you always use the pagination. So this is the main concepts or core concept. I'm saying paginations. Go to your model, refresh your model. So now sorry, in this time I'm saying I'm accessing the home controller. Okay, so it's working fine. Whenever you provide the wrong library, you can see it's saying this library is not available. Okay, so now you have loaded the library. How can you create the paginations like first, second, third, fourth? So you can pass some argument, or you can create the config file first. Okay, I'm saying config. So in the config folder, the required is the base URL. First of all, base URL. Okay, now I'm saying the base URL is something like this: http or www.shexy.com or something like this, or you can pass the base URL here. I'm saying the base URL is site URL, and I'm saying home. Okay, the config, you can pass the second key what you need. I'm saying the total rows. So how many rows? I'm saying 200 rows. And how many pages you want to create? In this time I'm saying 20 pages I want to create, or I'm saying 50 pages I want to create. So the amount of rows are 700. Now I'm just renaming this because we need per page. Okay, what you need, you just need to initialize. I'm saying this pagination. Now I'm saying initialize. You can pass the config folder, oh sorry, config variable here. Now you can call this, I'm saying pagination, and now I'm saying that create links. It's simple. So it will automatically create some links for you. Now you can echo this out, refresh the page. Okay, now it's saying site URL. Why it's saying? Because we have to load this URL because we are calling the URL helper functionality. So if you don't know about URL, don't worry, I will explain it. Okay, so now you can you have a lot of pages here. Click this. So it's saying, oh, this page is not available because you have to setting something to your routes. So don't worry about it. When we create the original pagination or real-time pagination, I will explain it and I will show you how can you create the pagination. But the main concept is you have your paginations class. You can load your pagination class. You have your site URL. You have your total amount of rows. You have your per page. How many items you want to show per page. For suppose 700, you have 700 rows and you want to show 550 rows in a specific page. For suppose on a single page you have 50 entries, then another page you have a 50 entries. Then you are initializing this configuration and you are creating the link like this. Okay, so I think this is enough for today. If you have any confusion or any questions, feel free to ask me or leave a comment below the video, and you can direct send any message to me at Udemy. Thank you for watching.